can't possibly come on here and not talk about what happened to Charlie Kirk. That's not the purpose of this channel, to talk about current events, but current events affect a lot of what we do on a daily basis. So every once in a while, I think I have to bring it into the conversation. And I'm not going to get into all of it because I'm not an expert, and there are so many people out there that can speak about this tragedy in a way that I'm not qualified to do, except to say, I think it's horrible what happened. I think there's a lot of evil in this world. I think staying on the straight path for people, you're getting images and you're getting negativity thrown at all of us all the time. And how do we repel it? How do we make sure our kids don't absorb it? When we see what's happening in schools and we see what's happening in colleges, I can tell you I have a college-age daughter, and I'm always sending the other side of information to her because I feel like I'm fighting for her mind. I shouldn't think about that. When your child is off to college, you should be excited about the things they're learning, not petrified that they're going to be taught things that are going to change who they are, change the family values. What did Charlie Kirk stand for? He stood for God, Jesus, following, doing the right thing by humanity, family, and country. Faith, family, and country. These are all how I brought my daughter up, and yet I'm still worried about what she's hearing in school. Because when they're in college, they're separating from the parents. They're independent. They want to forge their own way. And then they get these teachers and the other students that start spewing this hate. And what Charlie was doing was giving college students another thing to think about. That's all he was doing. Let me share with you an alternative perspective that is going to seem so radically different to the radical stuff that you're hearing. What did he do that was so bad that deserved for him to die? So God has a plan. We don't know what that plan is yet. But one of the plans is the fact that his organization has now had, last I checked, 32,000 new applications or requests to open up a chapter on their college campus. That's pretty impressive. We don't know yet what God is intending for Charlie. We don't know what God is intending for us, or when I say for Charlie, for the death of Charlie. His wife is incredibly, incredibly brave and courageous, and she's a warrior. She's a warrior for her husband, for her children, and she's a warrior for all of us. So Erica, your speech left me speechless and crying. One of the topics on my channel, which is about mindset and is about action taking and is about strategies, that I thought actually kind of played into a little bit of what I felt compelled to share about my thoughts about Charlie Kirk. And I could probably give you lots of other thoughts, but I wanted to keep that as brief as I could, and maybe I'll share more as things progress. But there's a saying, and I kind of mess this saying up when I say it, but this is how I say it, is never underestimate the impact of what you say and what you do that it has on others. What do I mean by that? In the morning, if you smile at somebody in your elevator, if you live in a building, good morning, how are you? Have a great day. Smile. Maybe they just needed that to snap them out of whatever negative thoughts they were having. Never underestimate. You think that might not be a big deal, but for that person, it could be a really big deal. Going to your local coffee shop, finding a reason to say hello or smile, or complimenting somebody, whether it's the person that works there, your barista, or somebody online. Maybe it's giving to somebody that day, finding somebody that you're like, you know what? A lot of people are asking wherever I go. I'm going to find the one person today that I want to give something to. Maybe I'm going to go to a local deli and get a meal and give it to somebody that's asking for money on the street. Maybe I'm going to donate that day online. Maybe you already donate, but this would be like maybe a little extra donation. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it's just thinking and feeling that you can make an impact on other people. You never know if that day that you said hello to somebody, that you're the only one that smiled at them that day, and maybe that day was the day that they were feeling really hopeless and invisible, and you made them be seen, and maybe that's just what they needed. See, when we talk about success mindset and we talk about going from where we are to where we want to be, we have to also acknowledge that there's a domino effect, and we can choose to be that first domino that starts to get really momentum and good things happening both for ourselves and other people. We don't have to wait for some outside variable to come and then we do it. We can be the originators of thought. We can be the originators of action. I posted a video, and I think it was yesterday or the day before, and somebody, I don't know if they're a man or a woman because they don't have a picture, and in their name it's a little confusing as what they are, and at first I thought that they were being kind of snarky on the message that I was sending, and we started to interact back and forth because I didn't want to assume the worst, and they started engaging with me. And during that engagement, they said, "Thank you for being so kind to me," or "Thank you for being such a nice person." You can go back, I think it was yesterday, the day before. Maybe I'll try to link it. And I didn't know that they were even taking in anything of what I said. But I was responding from my heart. I was responding just on the slight chance they were serious, on the slight chance that just maybe I might say something that could help. I didn't know. I took the time. Not a big deal. I'm not patting myself on the back for it. Thinking I was helping that person, but then they acknowledged me. I wasn't expecting that. Not at all. I didn't know if they were going to comment back, or again, if it was like a snarky thing, or was it like a real thing, like a real call for help. I didn't know. I decided to look at it as maybe, just maybe, I could say one thing that might help them right now. I don't know. I'm not a therapist. I'm a coach. I try to impact lives in a positive way. I think what I do is I help people think differently. People always ask, "What do you do as a coach?" And I'm like, kind of in a nutshell, I help people think differently. I help people look for possibilities. I help people look to how they can solve a problem instead of live in the problem. I help people think about how they can move forward in a positive way. Am I always successful for myself? Confession time. I'm not always successful for myself. I'm not Tony Robbins. Maybe he's always successful, but I think even he says he has his moments. And his wife, Sage, really helps him, and many people around him. I have Tony in my mind around me when I really need that help, or Dr. Joe Dispenza. I listen to them because there are moments that I feel despair. There are moments that I feel like, I can't do this, or limiting beliefs, or not proud of myself, or haven't done the right thing that I said I was going to do. Like, I'm all about do what you say you're going to do, and every once in a while I don't, because we're human. We make mistakes. We're not perfect, but you don't have to be. Perfection is BS. Trying to be perfect is like Tony Robbins. I think he talks about it as, it's like the lowest standard, because we can never get perfect. So then we just let ourselves off the hook, because if I can't do it perfectly, I'm not going to do it at all. That's lowering your standard, versus I'm going to get a little better every day, and maybe a lot better some days. And maybe some days I'm going to stay neutral. Some days I'm not going to have any movement. And maybe even some days I'm going to go backwards a little bit. But my eye is always ahead. I'm always looking ahead. The RAS system, the reticular activating system, if you always have your eye on the target, your brain starts to help you get there. If you don't have a target, your brain's like, she doesn't need my help. She's not interested. But back to never underestimate what you do and what you say and the impact it has on other people. This person, this anonymous person, this faceless person on YouTube said to me, "You're a very compassionate person." I felt seen. I felt heard. I felt like, wow, I helped somebody. That was a gift. This person who I was trying to help gave me such a gift. I don't know if I'll ever interact with them again. I don't know if they'll see this, but if you see it, thank you. And please don't do drugs. That was what the discussion was about. Please don't ruin your life for that temporary moment, that temporary reprieve from the pain. Most people that overdrink or even drink, they're running from something. It could be simply stress. It doesn't have to be something more than stress, although stress is horrible, but people that do drugs are usually trying to escape something or someone, something in their mind. Back to Charlie. Charlie would say, pray to Jesus. I was brought up a Catholic, but I'm really, really starting to want to move towards the churches that are more Bible-based. Help me connect more with Jesus. I think that's Charlie's impact on me. I've always been someone that believes in God. I've always felt God's presence in my life, and I've always felt like God's watching. Do the right thing. I've always felt that. But I think I need to feel a little bit more. I don't know in what way, but Charlie had an impact on me. And millions of others. It's amazing. But for today, if you see this video, just ask yourself, who could you have an impact on? Who could you make smile? What could you do or say that would impact somebody in a good way? And never underestimate. It doesn't have to be some big thing. That person just made a comment. I was having moments of, am I effective? Am I reaching people? Do people care what I have to say? Should I continue doing this? And then I got that one note, that one message. And I went to sleep smiling and grateful. And grateful. So, I always try to have a theme of the videos I post. I don't know if this one has a theme. I'll have to think about it. But if any of this resonated with you, please comment. The comments mean a lot to me. I answer all of them. Like it, share it, subscribe. Help me grow my channel so I can help other people. And my charity of choice, Turning Point Now, I just donated, but I run for Heroes, Tunnels to Tower. I've been one of those monthly subscribers for a long time. I've gone to many for the past few years. Every September, it's an amazing event. Amazing event. I strongly encourage you. You don't have to run. You can walk. Plenty of people walk. Plenty of people walk. I actually think I might walk this year. You see firemen running. You see military people. You see children. You see adults. You see disabled. You see everybody. And it's a special event. It's in a great organization. 93% of every dollar you give goes right to the people that they tell you they're helping. 93%. There's very few charities that do that. Very, very few. t2t.org is how you find them. But do something today. Do something to make somebody smile. Because you guys make me smile. Have a great day.